Hey, crypto heads! It's the Goose with the Cryptic Paranormal Show. We're back for another episode. We got Sage Gatto. Am I saying that right? Is it Gatto or Gatto?
Gatto.
Gatto. Okay, I've been saying it right the whole time. Yep. Never mind. It's Sage Gatto. And then down there we got Heisenberg. What's up, buddy? How are you doing?
What's up? I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. It's been another crazy week.
I like that you put. I don't know why Denise doesn't like that opening.
Well, I mean, it's the most updated one, so I'm going to start using that, whether she likes it or not.
It's got her name on it.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, we're going to start using that one. What's up, John? How you doing? Just so everybody kind of knows, I'm, dealing with some technical issues. I don't have my mouse, so I'm using this stupid touchpad. It's going to take me a while to stay up with OH. IO. Sorry, buddy. I'm all down with the Pittsburgh teams until it comes to college. There it is, the Penn State.
Happy Valley.
So you actually got to go to a game last week. How was that?
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, growing up in state college, I had season tickets as a kid, so I was spoiled rotten. But, that was my first time back to my hometown since I was 12, 13.
That's pretty cool.
Wow.
It was definitely awesome. A change of scenery, from what I'm used to around here anymore. So
yeah. Has it changed a lot since you were there as a kid?
Yes.
Isn't that weird how that happens?
Yeah. I mean, even from last time I was there, it's tremendously different. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. So we got to know you a little bit when we were on an undisclosed location investigation.
That's right.
We had Zach on a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to get you on, but I know you work like crazy, so we finally were able to nail it down a date. But completely understand that. But I'm super excited to have you. So why don't we just start from the beginning? What's your origin story, man? How did you get into this thing?
So growing up, I mean, I was always big into the paranormal shows and watching Ghost Hunters, the first ever big show that was really on, the TV, and it was really interesting because I never really knew a whole lot about it. You see these guys with all these old original DVD recorders and old very 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 choppy cameras, and you're like, man, this is pretty cool. I would love to do that sometime. I'm sitting in all these old prisons and I'm like, damn, that has to be cool. And growing up, found out about my past house being haunted, and that was kind of interesting, and just something I've always been around but never really did much with until we went to Gettysburg one year and we did a ghost tour, and of course, being Gettysburg, it was popping off.
Oh, hell yeah.
And that's kind of I've always been around it my whole life, but during the pandemic I was able to buy all the equipment at the extra money I had and said, fuck it,
there you go,
let's get this going. And what do you know, now I'm going state to state and traveling and in a bunch of locations, so it's really cool.
That's awesome, man. And that's actually a good point. I didn't even think about that positive angle to the whole pandemic thing, because it really hit a lot of us.
Yeah, it did.
Either a lot of us lost our jobs and didn't have money, but those of us were able to at least scrape by with our jobs.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it. I should have been buying more equipment because we weren't going anywhere.
They were sending us those stimulus checks. I was like, what the hell else am I spending my money on? I was like, buying a new camera, buying this, buying that.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, thousands of dollars equipment that practically didn't even have to pay for it in a way.
Right. That's really cool. So what's your go-to?
Didn't even think about that.
Right.
Yeah, really. What was your question?
What's your favorite piece of equipment that you normally use on investigation?
I mean, I love my dowsing rods. That's my go-to. It's my biggest, it's just yes and no questions is the easiest way for me to establish a connection with the spirits. Right. So for me, I love using dowsing rods, but I mean, John can say and Zach can say, because they were with me at the location. I just stick shit everywhere. I have everything, so everything's out at all times, just in case.
Yeah.
But I always have success with the dowsing rods.
Yeah. That's cool. I have a pair of dowsing rods. I still don't trust myself with them. I kind of feel like I'm always moving them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know really how to practice without being in an active investigation.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean,
you can do it around us, Ray. We won't make fun of you.
Yeah.
Just waving around. Yeah. Look at that.
It's worse than just being steady, knowing that you're sitting steady, and that when they start moving, it's not you. That's just
right.
That's the best. Yeah. That's how I get when shit starts getting real. You'll see my hands going, oh my God.
So I guess my question is, when you're holding them, I've asked this of everybody who uses them, you're holding them like this, you're tucked in tight, so you're not moving. Are your thumbs like kind of holding on to them at all?
No, no, where like the 90-degree angle is, my fingers are below that, and like I'm more so on the grips. Like I let the whole top piece be exposed.
Okay, all right. Because I've seen people do it differently when they put them on top. I'm like,
yeah.
I mean,
it's so much easier to accidentally move them doing like that. So that's why, like, I'll literally like hold it like I'm holding a beer can in a way, at the bottom, just real lightly, and just let them take over.
Yeah. I'm putting up this conversation between a bunch of our friends.
That's all they do.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why do we have to put comments up? They just talk to each other. We're the hangout. That's what we are. We're the hangout.
Cool Kids Club.
Hey, Brandy, how are you?
Yeah, the Cool Kids Club.
Right. See, we got Lisa says she likes the dowsing rods.
That's my mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi.
So we got Eddie. Talking about the death whistle again.
No.
Yeah.
Hey, John Ward.
Yeah.
Holly bossing everybody around just like usual.
Yeah. Thanks, Brandy. Hope you're doing well as well. Okay, yeah, they're still talking about the death whistle. All right.
Death whistle.
Don't.
All right. I'll catch up in a few minutes here.
I'm just messing with you, Holly.
So do you run a lot of video and audio, or do you just use mainly the?
I mean, I used to. I had a camcorder until it took flight at Hillview and broke, so I kind of just stopped recording. I have a full spectrum camera that I'll run from time to time, but I can't even lie. It's one of those little POV ones, and I swear the audio on the thing is better than most voice recorders. There's times really? I'll literally just place it down and let it run just for the pure fact I know I'm getting great audio.
Is it like one of those off-brand GoPros that have been enhanced? Yeah, I have one of those too. I never see. I got all this crap that I'd never employ.
Yep.
It's just like, and it's just weird because like we were just at the Bel Air house and
I wasn't.
I know you weren't. That sucks, man. I feel like sometimes when you're not there, things don't happen like they normally do. I think like we get this like yin, like you say, like the yin and the yang to us. It's like the power duo.
It was just yang.
It was just yang there. It was just me being a dumbass cracking jokes the whole night, and Sarah laughing hysterically, and Kate trying to stay awake and keep out of pain.
Dude, I was hurt.
Yeah,
I heard about that.
Yeah, Caitlin came hobbling in. She hurt her knee. It's like, holy crap, man! You guys are just not having good luck at all.
She heard it right before she left because she was taking Lola for a walk.
Oh my god.
I know, John. I saw your response. I suck at him too, but I like the pendulum, which is weird.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of the same idea, but
yeah, you have to be real steady with that too.
I boss everybody around, Holly.
Well, you know what I do when I do a session is like I'll start with a couple questions that I don't know the answer to. Like I'll have somebody ask me a personal question that they would know the answer to, who's like around us, and see how it swings. And I don't think it's ever been wrong. So
yeah. That's how I always establish a yes or no with the dowsing rods to say, hey, whoever's here wants to talk, can you show me yes? And when they cross for yes, and I know, okay, we're established connection, we're on the same page here.
Yep. And I got the little spirit mat. It's not like a big anything special, just a little cloth one that I roll out. But I enjoy it. It's another thing. Again, I got to use more. I have the Jeff Fent grandpa box that I use all the time. I mean,
I want to get one of those, but I don't have the money for one.
That's about enough right there. Is the Jeff Fent box is all you
because we just sit there and listen to that. And
ask
questions to that.
So I brought a portal. It was one of the Huff Paranormal portals, like one of his line of ones. And I bought that and I use that with my spirit box, but it's really annoying because every time I try tuning out the white noise, I feel like I'm missing out on voices. But when I turn up the, when I like kind of cut into it a little bit more, then all you hear is the static, sweeping, and it's really frustrating because I feel like I'm doing it wrong, completely defeating the purpose of what it's meant for. But at the same hand, I'm still getting, a lot of responses, so I don't know. I'm on the edge with it. Spirit
What do you
box.
think of? What do you think about some of the apps they come out with? You a fan of those, or do you think they're pretty much all bullshit?
I think 90% of them are bullshit. I run the iOvulus on my phone only because it's made directly from digital dowsing, and
Okay.
they're the ones that develop the app, and it's
Yeah.
basically the same software as their handhelds. Because apparently it's only on iPhones, because apparently iPhones have the same sensors that they use in their Ovuluses.
Damn it.
But they're I don't know. It's strange because like they have it so like it'll spit out random words just so it doesn't freeze and lapse. So like you kind of have to pay attention and know that like when it just randomly goes off saying bacon that it's not legit, obviously. You know,
Right.
but like sometimes like I will get straight up responses with it. Like I had Civil War come up once at a place that was known to house, you know, wounded Civil War soldiers and stuff.
Oh, cool.
And that was really interesting. And I'll get danger, and then I'll be like, what? Like danger? That's strange. And then something will happen. I was like, oh, well, shit, maybe that was connected.
Right.
But like, you know, but a lot of times you'll sit there and watch it and go like bacon, sandwich, you know, food, eat, and then all of a sudden scary. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, scary is relevant. Look where I'm at, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Holly wants to know what app that is.
It's literally just called iOvulus. I think it's like $3 now on the App Store.
Okay. Is that for Apple only?
Yeah, it's on Apple only. Okay. There's one that's kind of like it for Android called Ghost Hunting Tools. I know a lot of people use that. It's essentially the same thing. It's an Ovulus. I don't know how the legitimacy behind it because I don't know the developers.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've known people that spoke right to the developers that developed the iOvulus app, so it's the only reason I trust that app.
Gotcha. Okay. I've actually tried that one before too, and I think the where was I? I was with the Haunted Housewives at the Painesville train terminal, and we were getting some pretty interesting responses with it, with the Ghost Hunter app, the Ghost Hunter tools, and with the Ovulus especially.
Yeah.
And we were getting some direct responses that made sense to what I mean. It was saying train station, people, tickets, and just like a bunch of words that were coming up that would actually have been. You know, and it's weird too because a train station, you would think there's so much energy going through that, even if the people didn't perish there. It's like that level of just chaos constantly going through there.
Exactly.
You know, and train stations, I mean, just like airports, they can be very emotional places, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
People are leaving, people are coming, people are.
Yeah, I mean, just watch the videos of all the military people coming home and seeing their family or their babies for the first time, or, you know, God forbid you're coming home to see family after your mom passes or your dad passes away. There's always
a lot of emotion.
A lot of emotion and energy in those places.
That's right.
And you know, a lot of you're happy. You're either happy, you're very happy or sad because you're going someplace you want to go.
Yeah.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
What up, Mr. Sean Bowman? Hey, patience.
What's up, Sean?
Yeah, but that's probably the only app that I've ever really used in any extent. I mean, I've tried other ones, but like a lot of people were into that. What's it called? The Audio Vox or something like that. But that's just there's too many buttons to push, and I don't really know.
There's some that are the Paravox or what it's called. Yeah, that one I heard is legit, but it's something you really got to know what the hell you're doing because it's a lot of different tuning and all that into it. It's not as simple as a Spirit Box where you turn on and sweep. Because it sweeps in like a million different ways, and you got to like know what you're doing, what settings to put it on. And then all of a sudden, it's like you can hear full-fledged conversations, and I'm like, Jesus. But I do run Phasmabox on my tablet from time to time. That's probably one of my favorite things I use.
Yeah, that's another thing I want to look into. Like I have
get a Microsoft tablet.
Yeah, I found one on Amazon that's actually it's run on Microsoft, but it's an English tablet. It came from England. And it was only like $150 on Amazon compared to like the $300 Microsoft ones that you'll find here. So I was like,
I was actually looking at those today, and I did see one for like $140, but I had never heard of the brand name.
I can't remember the hell the name of the brand.
Yeah. I was, I was weary of the brand name because I'd never heard of it, and it only had like one review, and it was like a 1-star. But if I'm only using it for like one app or like ghost hunting, it's $130.
That's why I took the risk on mine. I was like, I'm only using it for one reason.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's a lot better than trying to carry around safely my $1,200 laptop that runs.
Exactly.
Right. Because you know people like it might get 1 star because they're running it like a regular tablet.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
And it's, you know, and people probably are complaining about Wi-Fi, but if you're,
Yeah, I was like,
tablets
when I first met Zach, he was carrying his laptop around to use it. And I was like, I can understand why, because that's probably the only thing at the time that, that was
right.
readily available to run that
Yeah.
on. But that could also get very annoying because who wants to carry around a laptop? Like,
Exactly.
I'm glad my SLS camera broke because I hated carrying that damn thing around. Like, it sucked. And I never got
Yeah.
anything on it anyway.
Yeah.
So I was like,
that's another thing. I still have my Connect. It's the old version. I had to get like the adapter for and download all the
software.
the software. But we got some interesting things. But again, I don't want to carry around a laptop, especially I paid a pretty penny for this thing, and I don't really want to drop it in an abandoned prison somewhere and break the shit out of it.
And we used to set up cameras everywhere.
Yeah,
and it was just too much.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we spend an hour and a half, 2 hours just getting set up.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I like the SLS, because I like the idea behind it. I know people have caught some tremendous things with it. I mean, hell, I've caught a lot of things with it in Buffalo at some locations I was at up there, and had some luck with it at Hillview with some like really astonishing stuff. But to the fact that that's a 20-pound camera I'm carrying around, and the fact that the battery dies on the tablet like within an hour, especially at the end of the Spirit Society, they want to be dicks and drain it. Then right. I'm like, I just charged this, brought it, and now it's dead in 5 minutes. Like, what was the purpose?
Right.
And then I found out the one piece broke on it. I was like, I'm not even mad because I hardly use the damn thing. It's always dead. Yeah. So like, whatever.
Yeah. And it makes more sense to do it with a tablet because people, have the little harness that they could put together and they can carry it around. It's more, but I never got to that point. So I think I'm going to work on that because I do want to start using that and kind of like experimenting with that more. I don't really 100% understand the technology, so I don't
either.
I don't really jump at everything that people put on as like, oh, look at this, because like, I see like a crack in the wall that maybe it could be picking up, or just stuff like that.
But, well, that's why I always ask like for like validation of the spirits. Like if it's what I think it is, like make them do something on command, and if it does, you're like, well, holy hell, like I'm looking at a ghost right now. But
right.
It was weird because left was right, right's left on them. So I'm trying to figure out where it's at. I'm like, I'm getting confused because it's pitch black. I hardly know what I'm seeing, And it was crazy because I remember at Hillview we saw a spirit sitting in the chair in Bill Boots' room. And I was like, oh, maybe that's Bill. But I also know people said like those can pick up, objects like your furniture as a figure.
Yeah.
So you just got to be careful. So I'm looking at it. I'm like, well, considering where the head is and all the arms and legs, I think very well could just be a chair. So I said, Bill, if that's you, can you like wave? And then sure as hell, it went.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, well, hello.
The very first time we used my setup was actually, we were setting up for and this was before Adam owned Madison Seminary. We were doing a public ghost hunt event for the previous owner, the previous owner's son, Tom, and we're like, you know what? We're just going to put this up because it's on a computer. I don't feel like we talked about, don't want to carry it around.
Yeah.
So we set up a table in Sarah's room and just had it running all night so people could just like watch it if they wanted to.
Yeah.
They could just sit there and watch it. And when we were up there setting it up, like we immediately captured a small figure in the middle of the room. And I was like freaking out. Like I was like, it was dark and I couldn't really tell where, because Sarah, Maddie, the doll, used to be in that room.
Yep.
And she was still in that room, but she was all the way up against the wall. She wasn't anywhere close to it. This was popping up in the middle of the room. And I remember I walked out in the middle of the room. It started mapping me. I'm like moving. We had a bunch of like K2 meters and shit all over the ground.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I've never used this before. I don't know what could set off a false positive. So I started like messing with the equipment. None of that was doing anything. But that figure was still there. And I'm like, okay. So I put my hand out and all of a sudden you see this like little hand like reaching up towards me and trying to grab me, and it was weird. So I mean things like that you can't really debate too much about
exactly
what it is. I mean, you can't 100% say it was anything, but it's more towards the line of being paranormal than accidentally panning on a broom on the wall and it throwing a stick figure at
you. I know exactly.
Patience D is on vacation. She is with family down south, enjoying a weekend with her side of the family. So that is where she's at. Let's see what else we got. John, haven't bought any equipment in a couple years. I will leave that to all you wonderful folks. Yep, and he could just use it when he hangs out with us.
Exactly.
I mean, seriously, I've learned a lot of things from other people, and then, I kind of gauge by what I experience with their equipment if I want to purchase it for myself.
Exactly.
Case in point, we talk about this all the time on the show. Those Lucid headphones that our friends from ACG Paranormal started using, and they termed the Lucid method. As soon as they started talking about how they do this on our show, like everybody was like buying these headphones like crazy.
It's really
And
smart.
yeah, you can't really beat it because I'm not sure if Menards still has them, because I know those particular ones are like going out of stock everywhere, and they're not making that particular type, although they are making the Bluetooth version, which still works, but you're paying like $20 more for them because they're Bluetooth.
Yeah.
But the headphones themselves were like 14 to 17 bucks at Menards. So it's not like you were spending a whole lot of money on something experimental. It's like, you're out $20, big deal.
Yeah.
Mama Bear, what's up? How are you, Nancy? We love you. Trying to catch up with comments. What's the man you're planning and discussing this evening? We're just getting to know Sage and getting his experiences and talk. We were just talking about equipment. So I could talk. She's got 4 headphones. Yeah, but people are just buying them up. I mean, and that's a cool idea because then you could share with your friends. You get them all or less. And if one pair breaks, you have a backup pair.
With how clumsy I am, I'll need more than 4. I'd walk around with them around my neck, and somehow they'd find a way to fall off and break.
Uh-huh.
That's my luck.
I
get nervous tripoding things anymore after Hillview.
Oh yeah, I would bet.
We were in the basement shooting. I just had it shooting down towards George's room and down towards like the back staircase. You're not allowed in. And we were all standing in a circle around it, like no one was even remotely close to it. And somehow it detached from the physical tripod, lifted up, and just ducked down onto the ground as hard as it could possibly go. And the screen snapped off everything.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah. And everyone like turned around like, that wasn't us. That wasn't us. I was like, I know that wasn't us. I just watched it go up and fly on its own. Oh, there's the girlfriend.
Oh, you're doing amazing, sweetie.
Support from all over.
That's awesome.
Hello, Sarah.
So I want to ask you the crazy experience, scariest experience, like in a little bit, but I think there's a real difference between a scariest experience and a like most memorable experience. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Where you can like make contact and it's amazing, and you have this conversation with something and it's like life changing.
Yeah. Or something's chasing down the hall.
Yeah, or like you have the place that's just pure evil and you get scratched and you never want to go back there again. So like, what have you had that first experience I was talking about, that like that life changing thing?
Yeah, I've had both, like kind of in a way. I mean, it depends on the location. Like, really started out going up to Hillview every weekend to really learn how to use my equipment and kind of learn the basics of it. Because, I mean, at the time I only lived an hour and a half away, so it was very convenient to just, shoot up the highway and be there, go to their Publix every weekend and, kind of like being a gnome in a known, very haunted environment and know that, the spirits already here know what this equipment is. Yeah. They already know how it works. So I can get a feel for it up there. And, we had one night in Jeffrey's room, actually might've been the same night as my fundraiser. And I had my, my portal going and he was literally making fun of my buddy Dylan. It was the funniest thing. It was like, we were like, well, why don't you touch that ball? And all of a sudden the ball would start rolling around the ground. And we're like, oh okay. Shit. Well, why don't you touch that balloon? And then that balloon would start moving around. I'm like, bro, what is going on? And then he was like, why don't you touch the pink balloon? And then right through the portal, I hear purple. And I was like, see, he's correcting you. It's purple.
Yeah.
It was just continuous. And then when we went back, I went up for a live the following week. I think it was on a Wednesday. And we were down in One North, and I just kind of set up a little circle of equipment. It was, REM pod, music box, motion sensors, cat toys, like just kind of like all in a giant circle around us from the nurse's station and around us. And like we kind of like felt we were up by Jeffrey's room, for the first half. And when we came down, I was like, I wonder if Jeffrey came down with us. And I said, Eli or, whoever's around, why don't you go get Jeffrey and bring him down to us? and then or we heard a voice on the spirit box say 1 minute. I was like, oh, okay. So sure enough, a couple minutes later, we felt like a cool breeze come by us like waist high, and he was running in a complete circle around us, touching every piece of equipment as he would go around.
Wow.
That's
You would
awesome,
see,
dude.
like you'd see Cat Toy, K2, REM Pod, Music Box, and then just in a complete circle, just running around us, touching everything. I was like, this is insane.
Wow. That's
And
really
then
cool.
like 2 minutes later, you just hear bye, and then he was gone. And I was like, oh, we came down and say hi.
That's awesome. We've done some experiments. I don't know. It was one of the Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum experiments when Aaron was able to get us in there. We had I think we were using mag lights at that point in time, and we had them like all up and down. I can't remember what floor we were on. I don't really care because
you're on the fourth floor.
Yeah,
because I think Bethany was telling me. I wasn't there, and Bethany was telling me about it.
Yeah. That's because I remember you couldn't come.
Yeah.
So we had like 3 or 4 going down the hallway, and like, okay, start from the first one and work your way down. And seriously, it's like, boom on a couple seconds, boom on, and like it made all its way down. That was before like spirit boxes were a thing, unless you owned like a Frank Sumption box, if you were one of those lucky people. But and then another time, I think we were at the Bell Nursing Home. I was like a special guest for a para expedition public hunt, and we had K2 meters and EDI devices and stuff, and we started playing like old timey dance music because there was a lady there like that loved like 50s type music, and like psychics had picked up on her energy there. There was actually a picture of her too, like in one of the rooms that was claimed to be her room.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as like nothing was going on, we were just being quiet. And then Amy Perry Lane, was the host there, and Mike Smith were like, okay, we're gonna start the party now. And they started playing the music, and as soon as that happened, everything just started lighting up.
Wow.
That's awesome. It was just chaos. It was going crazy. It's like, I love that kind of thing. I'd rather see that and witness that than get hit or get scratched or have something.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's more meaningful.
Those calls are something to think about, because I had a couple this year and kind of made me wonder if it's really worth going out once a month for, because I was starting to really like mess with these. I was like, I don't want to go out and start getting chased everywhere. I go, like, I'm out here trying to get answers, not be threatened. Like, it gets sketchy at some places, but when you go to other places and it's just constant information and finding out about spirits and their life and their story and getting to know who they were as a person, that's more so what it's about for me. Because like I've already known ghosts are real. Like, it's not more so for me going out and proving this place is haunted.
Right.
I just want to go out and say, okay, I know this place is haunted, but how can I tell your story? How can I make you feel like you still have a voice? And that's always been my goal now, to go out to these places and connect and have them use me as a way to like tell their story and let them know that they're still there. And I feel like that's helped a lot more, especially at places like Fairfield County Infirmary and Hillview, and even at Rolling Hills Asylum when we were up there last fall. Like, it was a much easier way for us to connect and get their story out there and know that, hey, they're still here.
Right.
It's been an amazing run, but there's a couple of times I wonder.
Those are a couple places you mentioned are on my bucket list that I have not been able to make it to. Was Hillview Manor, which we were actually supposed to do like a daytime thing a while ago, and that got sidetracked because they ended up having an event there, which is no fault of their own. They just didn't know that was going on. So hopefully we get back there, and then Rolling Hills Asylum. I mean, that place has been on my radar since I realized you could do that kind of thing.
Where's that at?
East Bethany, New York. It's about an hour east of Buffalo.
I was going to say it's up towards kind of Buffalo-ish area.
Yeah, it's
actually
about 45 to an hour from Buffalo. We stayed because when we went up and explored the Niagara Falls. I've never been up there before, so that was pretty neat. Got to go up and see the falls, and we drove by the Statler Hotel, which is a very haunted hotel up there, and just putzed around for a little bit. Went to the hotel and crashed, and then took the 45-minute drive out to Rolling Hills. And it was the route it took us was actually kind of crazy, because the year before we were out that way doing a event with the local team at a place called the Hall Farm, and it was probably one of the scariest public events I've ever been on. It was built by a Revolutionary War veteran, and it
Wow.
stayed in the family for like 14 generations, I think it was. So they had like almost the entire county was their property.
Wow.
And we just had off the charts responses, and probably one of the best EVPs I was ever a part of was getting a voice telling us that she was the dead girl, and it was just it was just really creepy, and that like was something that really stuck with us, since we went up there. And whenever I was driving out, I looked at my phone to do the directions, and I saw Hall Farm. I'm thinking, there's no way this is the same place. And would you not believe it took us right by it? And I was like, oh, okay.
Wow, dude. Wow.
This is a little bit off subject, but when you were talking about getting chased, it made me think of the House of Wills.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that it was on the beginning of Monday Night Football?
Yeah, they had Pumpkinhead, like the super fan, walking through the House of Wills for the Halloween.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I was like, the House of Wills.
Yeah, and then I saw that. The owner post later on he reposted that, and then I guess Good Day, Cleveland was there. You know how like I did that thing at Anna Dean like years and years ago.
Yeah,
it was kind of the same deal, but they like refreshed it, and he was on there talking about the House of Wills too. So it's like, man, now I got the itch. I got to get back to that place.
Yeah,
that's one of those places though. That's not like,
especially since we talked like, nice to go there.
Yeah, that's not like one of those places that's like a cool like say like just chill interaction like talking to history. That's like it could either be cool or it could go really bad, and it can be worse if you walk outside and there's people hanging around. That it's just a bad area. I actually drove by there the other day too. It's just so weird. Like we were watching the Browns game. I saw Pumpkinhead there. I'm like, what the hell? I'm going crazy, and my wife's like, what, they score? I'm like, no, it's a freaking commercial. Or, it's like the opening. It's like
Pumpkin. I was going crazy too. I was like, it says House of Will. Yeah. That's the room. That's the coffin room.
Yeah. I knew exactly where he was, like walking through there. Then I saw the Good Day thing, and the next day at work, I ended up driving by it. I'm like, that's 3 times it's been mentioned in the last 2 days. I got to get back there.
Time to get back there.
I completely got it. Oh, you were talking about being chased. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to go back real quick and get caught up with some of the comments here. Oh, let's start with back to Sarah. Wants to know how everybody's. Oh wait, that wasn't the one I wanted to ask. First of all, she wanted to know how everybody's Halloween was. I had an awesome Halloween. I mean, we celebrated on Saturday before because that's when we had trick or treat.
Yep.
So my daughter had a bunch of her friends over. They all went, and my youngest all went trick or treating. They actually. I think this is the first year they went trick-or-treating by themselves and actually stayed out the whole time.
Wow.
And they had a blast. So it was like just us handing out candy with Mark and Marianne, a couple of my wife's friends. And had movies playing on the front of the garage, like old-time scary movies, plus the new werewolf one that came out on Marvel. We had that playing. So like a lot of the adults when they were trick-or-treating would stop and sit there and watch a couple minutes and see what's going on. But
should have had our podcast playing, man. That's scary enough for everybody.
Right? That's not a family show. But yeah, we had a good time. Did you guys have a good Halloween?
Yeah, it was fun.
Anything.
Yeah, it's like kind of one of those things. You either this is the first time we actually enjoyed it in a couple of years, so it was kind of refreshing.
Last year we went out with Zach and helped him with a tour out in Hanoverton, which was pretty cool.
Oh, cool! Yeah.
He was on Halloween. This year with the big one was a Sunday. This year it was just kind of.
Oh.
It didn't feel like Halloween at all this year. I don't know. It just didn't really feel like the vibe.
Yeah, like some of it was the weather because we were like an Indian summer. I mean, it was...
Lincoln's got to say good night to everybody.
Oh, yep. It's that time of night. You know, it's about halfway through.
Come on, buddy.
Lincoln, what's up, buddy? How you doing, bud? Are you interested? What's going on? What are you doing? Good night.
You want to watch?
You're in the garage.
Yeah.
This what's up?
Yeah.
This what's up?
Yes.
This what's up?
Yes.
This what's up? Yes. What's up?
What? That was on. Sorry, buddy. You say hi to everybody.
Yep, everybody say hey, Lincoln.
You want this?
Say hi to your friends. Hi.
Yep, say hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Good day, Governor.
Hi, everybody.
Yes.
Everybody.
You
All
get some
right.
good sleep, little dude.
I want the card.
You can have the card.
All right. You have that.
Everybody's saying good night, and he's so cute, and hey Lincoln, and all kinds of stuff. Ashley says, "Hey, Kate."
Hey.
So I'm going to back up to what John was getting to. He said one of his favorite experiments he came up with, having Hillary doing the dowsing rods blindfolded and having her have the spiritual energy point us out in the room. That's pretty cool.
No, that's cool.
That's actually a pretty legit experiment. That's a good idea. I never really super simple, like easy to think of, but I never thought of something like that.
We did something like that at Hillview. It just wasn't blindfold. It was during a public event.
Yeah.
It was me, Sarah, and two, I think Dylan and somebody else was with us. And all of us have obviously all been up there before, but there's a couple people in our group that haven't. It was their first time up there with this group for their event. And we were more so spread out. We weren't all standing shoulder to shoulder. And she was using dowsing rods and nothing was really happening. So I was like, I have a question that might make this happen so people can like experience something. I just said, she was like, maybe sometimes we use one, they'll point, at people instead of just trying to cross them. I was like, okay. I said, why don't you point to people that you know here? Like, is there anybody here that you know? And would you not believe it immediately swung, pointed at me, paused, turned, swung at Sarah, paused, turned, went over to Dylan, paused, and went over to my other team member. I was like,
crazy.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome when you get to see something like that.
Yeah.
We were with a group that was using them at Madison. It was actually our friend Amber was using them. We were in Sarah's room, and one of their team members, Chris, he would walk around, and Amber would just randomly say, "Okay, where's Chris now? Can you point to Chris?" And they would, like, no matter where he was, they would point. And at one point, he was not feeling good in that room, so he walked out in the hallway, like, and couple doors down, and she said, "Okay, where's Chris?" And seriously, those things pointed straight to, like, if you were to walk straight through the wall and make a beeline towards Chris, it was like a straight shot. Like, it was like seeing him. Yeah, it was crazy.
That's wild.
You froze.
Did I?
Yeah. It's kind of funny, but
yeah, it's a great face that you froze on.
Did you even hear what I just said?
No, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, you see him using a music box during a dowsing rod session, and the dowsing rods started dancing. Oh, wow, that's cool. Bizarre, definitely.
Music boxes are fun. Yeah. I love mine, but I gotta get a new gum band for it. Mine decided to break. Oh, that's another piece of equipment that the Spirits of Hillview broke on me. I'd actually had to get it replaced.
I'd like to go.
Maybe I don't want to go to Hillview. I just won't take any equipment. I'll just enjoy.
They can be cranky. I mean, I would stay away at the basement because they're having issues with a lot of dark energy there. But everywhere but the basement's perfectly fine there. Which is funny because every time you go down there, you're like, holy shit, like, what is going on down here? But when you go everywhere else, you're like, perfectly fine.
Ashley Storm said you should go to the Broken Bow Asylum. She heard it's pretty okay.
It's pretty okay. I'd like to go to that.
She's a little bit biased because she owns it, but I'm coming at some point. I'm coming, Ashley. We're gonna make it on there.
We're gonna figure it out.
Sarah wanted to know how much do spirits boxes usually cost. I mean, it depends, really.
I think my SB7 was only $80, but now the SB11s are like 110, 120 somewhere.
And honestly, between those two, I'd probably stick with the SB7.
Yep, I had an SB11, and it would just drive me crazy because with the dual sweep, you might hear one on one, but not the other, and it would literally block itself out. It was really frustrating.
I would say, Sarah, probably the best route is the cheapest, is the better, and you could probably go on eBay and find them pretty cheap. You can even go on YouTube and figure out how to find a specific model and do a hack job to it pretty simply. Just like it's like cutting a wire.
Yeah, that's like how Ghost Stop has the S box, and there's another company that like has like another random like small handheld radio that's like broken or jailbroken to be a spirit box. Like you can basically use any form of handheld radio if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, I have the S box. It's okay. I think I spent like $110 or something for it, but that's when it like was first coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they've updated it, and it may be running a little bit better. I know I did not like using it at all paired up with the Jeff Fent, the one Jeff.
Oh yeah, you tried that, didn't you?
Yeah, it was just not coming through right. It didn't sound good at all. I mean, the Jensen hack radio it's still been the best interacting with that. And I don't know. I didn't
Were
like
we just doing that because we know it probably wasn't going to work well, but use the energy of the box?
Yeah, we were just trying something different because you never know. I mean,
yeah.
In essence, that box he gave me is just a spirit box enhancer. So it's just you're plugging your hack radio into it, and it's just cleaning it up and removing all the white noise and adding reverb and all that kind of stuff to it. So
yeah, that's like kind of like what I wanted because like you can kind of do that with the portal that I have, but there's just so many damn knobs. So I don't know what the hell is each one supposed to do because I know one's the reverb, one's the enhancer, but I can never balance out right. It's either dead quiet or too loud. And
right, that's what I like about what Jeff set mine up is like he used a very simple speaker. It's basically one of those mini Marshall guitar amps.
Yeah.
So it only has 3 knobs, and one of them's the on-off button, and one of them's volume. So there's only a third one that you kind of, and everything else is eternal that he figured out himself. And that unless, I drop it and break it or something, God, if I ever did that, I would lose my shit and just probably quit ghost hunting.
I'd probably lose my shit too. It's not even my box.
I know.
Like, damn it, Ray.
I got to get back. Everybody kind of went back before Lincoln came out. Everybody's talking about how beautiful he is.
I saw that on Monday Night Football too. Yep.
Hey, Sage, Edward, and Tara are here too.
The whole gang's here.
Ashley says they do the same thing with no sessions with EMF devices. Asking once for yes. Yeah. We do that too. I like doing different things with like the EMF devices. They're just simpler to let sit.
They really are.
Like when we get too close, like that game that you play with it, Eisenberg. Like, okay, when you want me to stop, just make the EMF go off, and usually he'll get a few steps and it'll stop. He's like, okay, thank you, and like let me know when it's okay to go again.
Yep.
A couple seconds later, and then it's just like a game.
I did that with your box too. When we were at Madison, I was like, "All right, tell me when to stop."
Yeah.
Like stop after I like took 3 steps.
I want to get up to Madison. I mean, that's one place I haven't gotten up to yet. But I mean, I just really started getting out of Pennsylvania just recently. I think 2021 was the first year I was able to really get out of PA.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's still a lot of time. But Zach and I were talking about going up there last year because this year we did Fairfield in February together, and we were talking about doing Madison. We're like, yeah, let's go, just you and I, and take advantage of the winter costs.
Yeah,
we'll go just you and I, and then we got all hyped up about it. And then he texted me one day. He goes, "So I don't think that's a good idea." I was like, "What?" He goes, "Cleveland, Ohio area in the middle of February." And I was like, "Oh yeah, good point."
especially Madison because
that's right on the lake.
Lake Erie's here. Madison's like right here.
Yeah,
right in the
always comes
bullseye.
Like that. So yeah, Madison always gets about 5 or 6 inches more than everybody else.
Yeah, I'll tell you, our night at Fairfield back in February was probably the coldest investigation I've ever been on.
Oh yeah,
it was miserable. When we got there, it was like 32 was the high. I'm thinking, when we went last April, it was like maybe 30 all day. It was fine because we had a colder day in April. Well, not realizing it was like 15 degrees inside and 32 degrees outside. Yeah. And when we left at 4:00 in the morning, we had 5 inches of snow on the ground as well. So it was interesting. And the whole back parking lot was one giant sheet of ice. So it was like inaccessible. It was just miserable outside.
Yeah. I got to be a part of when they filmed a episode of Resident Undead at the House of Wills. And it was literally the day of a big blizzard coming through.
Oh, no.
So it's like, we were already using a generator and a little like propane heater lamp to keep one room warm enough for us to like hover in while we were doing everything else. Because it was so freaking cold. And like he had us down in the basement in the cloud room, like literally in just our jeans and a t-shirt. Doing like shooting one of his like opening B-roll scenes.
Yeah.
And oh my God, that was probably the most cold I've ever been. And then luckily I was okay. What's that?
You can't act cold.
No. I mean, you could see it like on the film. It's like our breath is like crazy heavy, like freezing.
Yeah, Zach was in a t-shirt and shorts at Fairfield. No, maybe he was in jeans, but he was in a t-shirt. I don't know how. I was in like 4 layers. Yeah. I was freezing.
I've been up to Madison when it's been pretty cold.
Yep.
It's
So I bought a heated jacket.
yeah.
That's
I mean,
actually really smart.
when it gets real bad, there's a couple rooms that actually ice up inside, like freezer.
No
Yeah.
way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Tara wants to know if we've ever been hurt. I have personally never been hurt besides to like hurting myself walking up and down Madison steps 5 times in a night, and then I can't walk by the time I get home.
Tripping over something is about all I've ever had.
Because I have old man arthritic knees. So yeah, other than that, I've never been hurt. I've never been scratched or anything weird like that. I mean, I've been touched, but I've never been hurt.
Yeah, me neither.
And nothing's ever really happened to me other than close calls because Zach opening his mouth in Moundsville, but that was really about it.
Yeah. What's
We all
up,
know
Tony?
what
Uncle
Zach is.
Guido.
Hey, Tony.
I'll tell you what, he might be an asshole in investigations, but he's probably my favorite person to investigate with. It's just
Who's
it's
that?
always entertaining. Yeah. It's always entertaining being out with him. We
He's a
got
good
growled
guy.
at Moundsville because I told him when we went the first time, it was just me, Sarah, and a couple of our friends, and we left with one experience out of the whole night, and it was in the damn cafeteria of all places. And I was like, kind of like, I was upset because like that was one place I knew about ever since I was a little kid. Everybody knows Moundsville. And I was like, everyone's like,
Right.
oh, it's so violent. Everyone gets scratched. You know, you don't have, you know, it's scary. It's real bad. It's real bad. I'm like, okay, well, I want to see it. And we go there and like nothing happened. I was like, come
Yeah.
on, like really?
Yeah.
So when we went back the following year, I kind of went with the mentality that like, oh, well, this will be my final straw. We're going to see if this is true or not, or if people were just, you know, maybe getting lucky or something.
Yeah.
And we went in and immediately the whole night we were being followed by dark shadow figures that we could physically see with our own eyes, and shit was
wow.
getting thrown, and doors were being slammed, and we got growled at, whistled at, and I was like, you know what?
Moundsville, I've been there I think 3 times, and it's a very temperamental building.
It really is.
It's like you said. It's like some nights it's so quiet. It's like, okay, why did I spend all this money to come here? But I mean,
Right. The night we went, it was pretty quiet.
Yeah. Well, the night we went too, I think that was the night that
Night before,
Zach Bag, the production crew had already set all their crap up for Paranormal. What was that show called? Zach
Challenge.
Bag, Paranormal Challenge. They had like equipment and rooms filled with video equipment and stuff.
Yeah.
And just the energy of the whole place felt off. Like it's almost like the spirits knew what was about to happen. Yeah. Like the spirits knew what was about to happen. So like, man, we ain't having any of this shit right now. We're
Right.
That's where Nick was like, all right, you're gonna do your first solo in here, and I was like, okay. I almost fell asleep.
So it kind of goes back, talk about Moundsville. It's probably my most memorable. Like that wasn't, I mean, I guess it was kind of scary, but we were sitting in Red Cell, and it was me, my friend Judy, and Zach, and we were just sitting there. And as you can imagine, Zach was being Zach, just, you know, letting things roll off his tongue. And I'm sitting there with my voice recorder. I have a Zoom Pro voice recorder that's live listening. So I had it amped all the way up, mic level all the way up, sensitivity all the way up. And I'm sitting there with headphones. And it's like those the headphones that you can put on, like here's everything. Like you can hear the slightest noise. And I'm sitting there, and I told Zach, I was like, I can hear footsteps coming down the cell block right now. It was just real faint, like doom, doom, doom. Like I'm thinking, like, who is coming? Like this is creepy. And then 2 seconds later, the music box I had shooting down the cell block started going off.
Oh yeah.
And I looked up at Zach. I said, "You believe me now? Like something's coming for us, dude." And he started laughing because I was already nervous and on edge because we kept seeing, you know, this dark shadow figure stalking us the entire night. And then we were sitting there, and Zach goes, "Red, quit fucking with us. Show yourself." And I said, "Zach, you shouldn't have said that." And I heard a loud noise, and we turned and looked in the doorway, and he was standing right in front of us. You could see his whole figure, like from head to toe. And I screamed. I was like, "What is happening?" And then Zach went, "Holy shit, you scared me!" And then just like that, vanished.
Wow.
And I told him, I said, "No more taunting out of prison, okay? Enough is enough."
Yep, that's enough.
It was just all night though. Like you would hear something, and we'd turn around, and there would just be a giant shadow figure just standing there. And it would be like, "You're not allowed near us. Like you need to leave." And then all of a sudden, just vanish. And I'm like, "Come on! Like this is not cool anymore." I don't know. That was probably the only time I've ever had that much level of activity the entire night.
Yeah. That's crazy, man.
I don't know how we say the whole.
Yeah, like I said, Moundsville's been off and on. I mean, I've had nights where I think it was the same area where Red was. That prison cell there, you can go completely around the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
yeah. I was with my group, and this was one of the first times. I think it was the very first time I went there, and we were like not even really seasoned investigators at that point. We were just friends
Mm-hmm.
that went on a big ghost hunt every year.
Yeah.
It was like work friends. And anyways, we walk in. It was just us, and I swear to God, I thought one of our people was walking in front of me. Like I just saw like the back of his shoe and like his jeans.
Uh-huh.
Like, how the hell did you get in front of me? So I start following him around, and I saw him go around the corner again on the other side. I'm like, what the fuck? And everybody's just standing there like, what the hell is he doing? I'm like, listen, I thought one of you guys, I was like chasing one of you guys around. I'm like, no, we've all been standing here just watching you circle the cell. What the hell? It's crazy.
That's
stuff.
fun.
Like, we've heard like several the cell door slam. I mean, we've had some pretty nothing like the level you had though.
Yeah. Have you ever had a door slam on you while you're in a room or see a door slam on its own?
I did. He missed it because it was the one that it shut on him. He was walking. He was walking up in the fourth floor of Madison. So I was standing in the hallway. He walked into the door and it shut behind him.
Okay.
And I was so excited, like, holy shit, yeah!
Yeah, he saw it. I heard it, and our camera was pointing the opposite way. I'm like, God damn it! No.
But I got to see it. That's probably one of my better like proof experience. You know what I mean?
It was like kind of the spookiest room in the attic there.
That's
and I'm like, okay, I'm like I'm talking. I'm like, okay, follow me. You have to go on lockdown. And like we walk in there and the door like shut behind me. I'm like, what the hell?
My hair felt like you know when somebody rubs a balloon on your head.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like. It felt like my hair was like sticking up to like right here.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we had a couple seconds. It was just weird, man.
Our experience with door slamming was at Rolling Hills Asylum when we went up. It was probably one of the most interesting experiences ever because it was not at all what I was looking for. We went up for the Wraith Chasers event. It was Chris, Mike, and Brandon. They hosted their own event up there. So of course I wanted to go up to Fangirl to meet them because they were one of my favorite paranormal shows in high school. So I was like, I got to go up and meet them. And we went up and it was just awesome from the start. But when you walk in that building, like you're looking at like, holy shit, this building's extremely creepy because mind you, it's in literally the middle of nowhere. You're driving down cornfield after cornfield after cornfield and get to a random T intersection where there's this giant asylum is just chilling out. You're like, what is going on here? But you pull in, you're like, it's just kind of like, it's real creepy looking. Like, oh, this building's cool. But the second you walk in, it's like you literally walked into a huge dark energy field. And the whole building was supercharged. And I knew we were in for a night. And we got towards the end of the night and we were with Mike in they call it the Shadow Hall. There's like two double doors that was like, because it was like an assisted care area, like where the bad nutcases would have been.
Yeah.
And one of the stories is like nurses will push you to your room if you sit in the wheelchair that's near the double doors. And like if you ask for like a nurse or somebody to help you to your room, like the doors will open on their own and someone will feel like you're being pushed. And that I was kind of looking more so for figures and stuff like that. But my good friend and her daughter were in one room and Sarah walked off and just went into this other room that she felt like she was being drawn to. And she sat down there and I was just kind of like walking back and forth, like checking on everybody because, curious and to see what everyone's getting. And I heard our friend say that she heard like something breathe in her ear because she was using the Zoom with the live listening, even though everybody was standing completely still, like nobody was even in her ear. She just started spazzing out. She's like, who's breathing in my ear? And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, I just sort of heard someone go, like right into my ear. And I was like, no, that wasn't any of us. Mm-hmm. So I went back into the room with Sarah because like she was getting antsy, wanted, like for some reason, like something was affecting her energy or something. I'm not sure, but I went and checked on her and I gave her the dowsing rods and we were, whatever. And she went back in and next thing you know, I heard that loud, like exhale kind of noise, but come from the hallway, but I was the only one that heard it. And I was like, what is going on in this area? Like, this is so strange.
Someone's messing with you.
Yeah. So Sarah like started asking questions and she was getting a lot of responses and she goes, I'm getting a little nervous. Like, can you come in with me? It's like, yeah, sure, whatever. So I walk in and immediately lost my breath, like couldn't breathe. My knees wanted to give out, like I couldn't stand. Like I was like, what is going on here? Like this is so strange. I was like, I'm sorry, I got to step out. And the second I left that room, I was perfectly fine.
Huh.
I'm like,
Wow.
what is, like, this is strange. Like, that's never happened before. So she asked, do you not want him here? Immediately the rods crossed yes. I was like, well, figures. So I'm just sitting there in, like, you know, kind of like the exit area, like right out in the hallway, but looking in kind of area. And she was asking a bunch of questions. And, you know, I said, you know, I know you don't want to talk to me, but were you hurt by a male? And immediately they crossed yes. I said, well, were you murdered by a former superintendent? And immediately crossed yes again. I was like, I knew a bunch of sketchy shit happened here that's not documented. Same with every port farm. And I was like, that's, you know, bad, because it was two female spirits that were communicating. And, you know, Sarah, I could tell, was getting nervous, and she's like, you know, I need him in here. Please let him in here. Like, he's fine. He won't hurt you, you know, going on. And I let it kind of gave it a second. I walked in, it was perfectly fine. And I was like, what is going on here? Like, this is insane.
Right.
So I got to sit down, and I was like, let's try the spirit box in here. Maybe they'll want to talk. And literally, as I was digging through my bag, I heard the door unhinge off the wall and slam shut on us while we were in the room. Wow. And like, she screamed, I got up, I was like, holy hell, the door just slammed. And I opened it, and Mike was standing right there with his jaw on the ground. Like, he watched it close. And I was like, what are you scared of? You do this shit for a living. Like, what do you mean you're scared? I was like, that was awesome. I was like, I didn't want to lead on, though. I was a little nervous, but like, that was pretty cool. I never expected a door to physically shut right while we were in the room.
Wow.
And we went on with the night, and I told the one lady about it. I worked there, and she goes, oh, that's the vortex room. I was like, oh yeah, it makes sense. It makes all sorts of sense now.
Well,
what's up,
all right,
Richard?
guys, I gotta jump off. Go.
No, it's actually time. It's about 9 o'clock, and I said we were just going to run for an hour tonight. So, anything before we go? You got anything?
Oh, you plugging anything? Don't even try, man. You got anything
you
to plug?
ready to jump off, man. I had to
shush. You got anything to plug?
Oh God.
You got anything coming up, Sage?
Yeah, next weekend we're going to Northern Virginia to ghost hunt with the Wraith Chasers.
Awesome, man.
Pretty excited
That'll
about
be fun.
Checking out the Dunlora Inn in Mineral, Virginia.
Interesting. That's not a name I've heard, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, the Twisted Paranormal team that hosts the Wraith Chasers and all other events is the other Haunted Nights team aside from Steve Roth's. They have they do a lot of different events with them, and we were out there with them in March out near Gettysburg. And then the guy Brandon messaged me, and he goes, hey, we're doing an event with the guys in November. Do you want to come? And I was like, I would love to. I mean, where is it? Because I wanted to try seeing them again. And he sent me information. I said, you better let me know when tickets go on sale. And we got them immediately.
Awesome, man.
Awesome.
So I'm excited to go out because I've never heard of it. I'm going to do probably a little bit of light research. But from what he said, it's one of their favorite spots to go to in Virginia. It's the Wraith Chasers' first time going. So I'm curious to see like how they react too. So it should be real interesting.
Nice, man. That sounds awesome. As for us, we're going to be tomorrow night. We're going to be helping guide some ghost hunters up at the Lake County Historical Society, also known as the Lake County Poorhouse, tomorrow night.
Is it tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night. It's Friday night. Yeah.
I thought it was Saturday.
No, it's always
Good
Friday
thing you said something.
Yep. Tomorrow night. So we'll be up there with the Haunted Housewives. And hey, somebody needs to remember to bring some equipment if he has any. Talking to you,
Eisenberg. I think he was looking at you.
But real Sage, this is awesome, man. We'll have to have you back on sometime.
Absolutely. I love that.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Absolutely, guys.
Really appreciate the time. Really cool. So you have a good weekend. Enjoy your excursion, and good luck to you on that. Be safe.
Absolutely.
And Crypto Heads, another awesome show. Thanks for tuning in. We'll spook you later. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Oh, you know what? Denise is in here, so I have to say, don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole.
All right. Shut up. Yeah. I don't usually say that on the show too much, but all right, you guys, we love you.
Me
We'll
all
see
the
you
time.
next time. All right, we'll speak to you later, guys. Bye-bye.
See you guys later.